Ever since I was a kid, I have loved bugs and martial contests from the time that I was lifting up every rock that I could find and watching every kung fu movie I could rent. I have been a fan of both. So it's no surprise that when All Play released Kabuto Sumo, I was over the moon and have talked about it several times on the channel. And being that big of a fan, I'm stoked that All Play has sent me the brand new premium Kabuto Sumo storage locker to check out. And that's what we're doing here today. So without further ado, let's just jump in. First off, this thing is sturdy, surviving with relatively little additional packaging the long trip to Alaska. Taking it out of the shipping box, it dawned on me how elegant and monolithic it was, bearing very little in the way of logos and titles, instead really showcasing Kwanchai Moriya's outstanding illustrations. Once you open the magnetically latched double doors, you get a series of labeled cardboard trays and storage containers, smoothly removable and easily accessed. Maybe the most luxurious and functional big box layout I've seen. Then came the sorting, which is mostly straightforward, but this is one of those things where you kind of have to make your own decisions and feel your way out because, like a chump, I wasn't finding a clear diagram. We'll come back to this. But even still, I was able to make do with the storage, happily confirming that the trays are big and solid enough to fit the upgraded wooden arenas. It was also a nice little discovery that some metal belts were awaiting for me within. Rad. Once things had more or less fallen into place, with the only real annoyance being the dividers for cards separating based on expansions, which is crazy, instead of function like a separate tab for the Junior League, which is the only real separation I need, finally got to the rulebook stage and, well, where did these go? Maybe over here? Oh, well, okay. How about this slight crack in the side? Oh, okay, here's the diagram of where all the components are supposed to go. Oh, well, maybe I should have looked harder for that first. But with that, everything slid into place. Okay, so this thing is awesome. I mean, Kabuto Sumo is a fantastic game, but it has a load of components, and this makes it really easy to navigate, store, and show. But there are some downsides. This thing is bigger than the two base game boxes that I was able to, albeit just barely, cram all the existing components into, which means increased consumption of shelf space and reduced portability. And like all of the recent craze for big boxes of games with lots of content, there's always the concern for its compatibility with future content. I mean, Kabuto Sumo clearly is doing really well for All Play, so are they going to release more down the road? And is this going to be able to fit all of it? There actually is a decent amount of void that you can play around with to fit in extra stuff, even if it's not in the prescribed area. You can still make it work, so I anticipate that most things, unless you get a ton of extra content in the future, would be able to fit in here. But if you're getting another arena, for example, if they come up with a triangular shaped board for you to play on that has roughly the same dimensions as the others, well, that ain't fitting in here. And you could argue, well, do you need more content for Kabuto Sumo? But I'm guessing that if you're the type of person to want to get a big box to hold your game, then you're probably the type of completionist that is also going to want everything released for said game. So it's always a little bit of a conundrum and a bit of a risk. But the benefits far outweigh the drawbacks, and I'm usually a big box skeptic, and that sort of risk for future content I think is pretty minimal, especially considering we already have the two arenas, and this thing has a bunch of extra room that I can work with. I'm betting I got enough room for my bugs to grow. And no longer is my Kabuto Sumo just going to be jam-packed into the two boxes that I had, inviting chaotic disorganization and possible destruction, as confirmed in part by making this very video, necessitating some wood glue intervention. And ultimately, the box is going to sit as a lovely centerpiece on the shelf. So if you got the space and you love the game, and you're the type of person that likes upgrades to your favorites being both functional and beautiful, this seems to be the gold standard for big boxes to come. And that's our review, but let me know, what did you think of this big box, and do you want to see more product reviews as opposed to just straight up board game reviews? Put it in the comments. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting, thanks for being such a great community. You know that I've been Jack for the Cardboard Herald.